Hey, what's up, you guys? This is D with Level 3 Properties. I want to talk about fear from the perspective of how we perceive it coming from other people. Because I think that a lot of the times, even if you're the type of person that doesn't let what other people say affect what you do and how you act, it does have some amount of influence on us. So I wanted to touch base on that a little bit because a lot of people will say, don't be afraid to fail. Failure is a good thing. And yeah, it is. But I think it trips up some people because a lot of the times you'll think of this particular goal and you'll think of the grand scale of how big it could be or how big you want it to be. And you think, oh, okay, cool, I got this great idea. I'm going to put all my money towards it, all my life savings. Oh, damn, I don't know if I really want to lose all of that. I don't want to lose all the money that I've worked so hard for over all these years and everything. And oh man, so immediately you start to talk yourself out of it. I think more specifically, we need to get comfortable with something I like to call micro failures. Because like I said, we kind of look down the road and we see all of the potential like big losses that this whole thing can take. But honestly, I don't really think it's about that. I think it's about the failures of the day-to-day activities of things. So like for instance, you pick an endeavor, you set a goal, and then even before you get to that goal, or even before you get to the failure of that goal, you have to overcome a slew of micro failures on a regular day-to-day basis, which is really the hard part. That's the consistent part that they always talk about. And if you're able to get over those, then the big failure that you're so worried about, most likely it's not even going to come. Most likely you're just going to come across a lot of these obstacles and have to overcome those on a regular basis. When you think of, okay, I might want to get into real estate, I might want to buy this property, and then, oh, what if shit hits the fan? What if my tenants stop paying rent and then I have to evict them? I have to go through this whole process and blah, blah, blah. It's like, well, even before you get there, you are going to have to go through quite a bit of small failures. Those are the good failures. I don't even really like to use the word failure, but I think it's more from the perspective of what are those little just, speed bumps that I have to get through, those little obstacles to just get me through this whole process. And most of the time, I believe that those big losses that everybody's always talking about, I think that you can't really have this big massive loss and then at the same time simultaneously have been oblivious that you've been going down this path the entire time, or at least having some idea to some extent that you've been maybe slacking it or not really putting in as much effort as you might have thought originally, because a lot of people will have that motivation out the gate in the beginning. That's nice and all, but it's all about that consistency. You're going to need that motivation over a long period of time, and the micro failures are the ones that are inevitable. It's the big failures that you can have more control over, actually the potential for the outcome of either failing or succeeding. And so it reminds me, for instance, I was talking to a buddy of mine the other day at lunch. Right now he's currently in grad school and he's working on his MBA. And a lot of people, especially entrepreneurs, we tend to beat ourselves up thinking like, oh yeah, I could be doing more. And we feel guilty sometimes about even doing things for ourselves and self-care and things like that. And we're always trying to find those little pockets of time that we can dedicate more towards the business and getting things done, which is great. But it kind of occurred to me, as I was talking to him, that we always tend to think that we have to be on an incline. We have to always be doing something a little bit more. And if you have your steps that you need to take in place, or you have those tasks for the day or for the week or for the month, and as long as you are actively doing those tasks, it might not necessarily be in an incline because you're actually staying at a steady course. You're staying the course. So say like you had 3 tasks for your business that you had to accomplish that day. If you accomplish those 3 tasks and you think to yourself, oh damn, I have an extra hour, I could do a little something more. You can do those things. However, you shouldn't really beat yourself up if you don't do more than those 3 tasks, because with those 3 tasks that you're working on, or whatever tasks that you already had planned out, you're already way ahead of all the 99% of the people that didn't even start in the first place, or they started and they gave up. Like those people are already long gone. They've been quit a long time ago. So no matter what, even if you just stay the course and do those tasks, you're already ahead of the game. It's just crazy because we always think we have to go above and beyond. And so to kind of equate it to my friend who's in grad school right now, I told him, I was like, okay, you have these 3 classes that you're taking for the semester, and you have X amount of time until the end of semester. And he would beat himself up about like, oh, well, I should probably study a little bit longer, or I should maybe, do this extra assignment or whatever. And I'm like, well, you already have your classes set, those 3 classes till the end of the semester. As long as you do those, you're gonna reach your goal. So you don't have to go above and beyond. I mean, it's okay if you do every now and then, but you don't have to beat yourself up for it. So I don't think that this whole concept of failure should be so focused on the big, massive failure that could happen down the road. So even if you do fail at that goal, I guarantee you nobody's even gonna remember it a week from now. Starting this real estate journey of mine, this is the 3rd business that I've started. There's maybe a handful of people that knew what I did on those other businesses, and even they don't even think about it twice. So a lot of people also have that perception of like, well, what do people think about me and everything? And what will they say? Like if I put myself out there and then I fail, nobody's even gonna remember it. Unless you remind them and you tell them like, hey, remember what I did? Remember what I screwed up on? They'll be like, oh yeah, that's right, okay, yeah. So what you should be worried about is those micro failures. You need to finish that email. You need to call that person back and square away those details for that project that you're working on, sure. So for those people out there that are very apprehensive as far as wanting to start, take it from me. Like I said, this is my 3rd venture. Barely anybody remembers the past 2 business ventures that I started, but people know about this one. And even if this one were to fail, nobody's gonna remember this video, nobody's gonna remember anything else. So that was just really something that's been on my mind that I wanted to share. Because it's definitely something that I see trip up people a lot more. That reminds me of a saying, actually. It kind of blew me away the first time I heard this saying. The saying was, when you're in your 20s, you care about what everybody thinks about you. When you're in your 40s, you stop worrying about what people think about you. When you're in your 60s, nobody was even thinking about you at all. And I was like, wow, that's actually so true, because I'm 37 right now. And once I heard that, I was like, okay, I care what I think about myself and my values and my morals. I care about that stuff for myself. Yeah, it really occurred to me that, hey, 10, 20 years from now, when I'm, old and gray, even right now, nobody's thinking about it. Everybody's got their own issues. Everybody has their own things that they're going through. They're not thinking about anything beyond that. So yeah, I just wanted to kind of put that out there, if that helps anyone. And if there's anything else, feel free to hit me up. I love talking about stuff like this and just philosophical stuff and relating it to obviously business and real estate. But I love providing motivation where I can and providing any kind of insights and things of that nature. So let's get it cracking, make it happen. And I hope to see you start a project of your own one day soon if you haven't already. And I'll be more than happy to do whatever I can to help. So, all right, you guys have a great weekend. This is D with Level 3 Properties, and take care, and I'll catch you next time.